Hello and welcome to Game 6, the final game of the league against Personman. Here is our kingdom, and okay, I'll be completely honest with you. This match went on a little bit longer than I anticipated, and I had guests over even before this game started through the last mission game as well. So I play very, very quickly, and I don't think a lot about what to do here. So it's not going to be exemplary play, but let's still have a look at it. We have some actions. Hunt and Lodge encampment. We could draw with Margrave. Encampment also draws. And there's a bunch of points behind encampment as well. You could trash down with Catapult. That seems very good. Forge also trashes. Means I don't really care too much about Swamp Hag. And there's Stockpile. The everyone's favorite Stockpile. We have 2-5, which seems incredible here. We will go ahead and get a Margrave and an encampment. But, you know, it's like the game doesn't know I have guests. Just why did you give them 5-2 as well? Just let me win quickly and move on. Anyways, encampment connects with Margrave. Very nice. We get to 5 again. I am going to pick up a hunting lodge here. I think that works well with the Margrave. Also kind of defends against the Margrave attack. We get hit with Margrave here. Catapult is going to be next up on my list. So is it for Personman. They start in on the stockpiles at this point. Now, I trashed the estate there with the catapult because I already made them discard with the Margrave. Plus, I wanted a gold because I wanted to gain many encampments very quickly. I have the plus buy from the Margrave, right? So it is possible. Okay, so Personman returns an encampment. They could pick up 3 of them here if they like. I don't know if they like to do that or not. They probably want to get their stockpile back though. They choose not to, though. They choose to take a haunted lodge and an encampment. I gain an encampment, pass it back, an encampment for Personman. We actually have some good luck here. We connect this haunted lodge with Margrave a few times now. And we also go for encampment and haunted lodge. I don't want to reveal the plunders for them. Next turn, if I come back with 7 on 2 buys, I can go encampment plunder. So we'll see how that goes. This doesn't look very promising as a hand. Still doesn't look promising as a hand. I discard the encampment there because I don't really have any intention of playing this encampment. Just such low odds to find the gold. So I just pass the turn, really. I mean, that's not exciting, but maybe that's the right thing to do. Plunders are revealed at this point. I opt for a Margrave attack instead of a catapult attack. It draws, gives me plus buy. I think that's much better. And it fetches me enough money to get up to a plunder. So first plunder for me here. Margrave attack hits me a little bit unpleasant time, but you know, when is there a pleasant time for Margrave to attack you? Sometimes, not all the time. We continue on with the plunders. We want to get as many of these as possible. We go for a Harbinger there. You probably should buy Stockpile instead of Harbinger. Harbinger does very little for you. Stockpile is a much, much better card, but oh well. I didn't want the Stockpile to get in the way of connecting encampment with plunder, is why I avoided that. Okay, so Personman actually sets aside an encampment here, which I was stoked to see. It means 1 more encampment for me, but I also had to set aside 1 there. Very sad. Very sad. I don't have to set aside the second one though, so that is helpful. I'm able to draw almost all of the deck. I mean, I had to give up an encampment to do it, so that's not happy. But I could buy the one that Personman just set aside and the plunder below it as well. Okay. So we get hit with the Margrave attack again, unfortunately. We had a decent hand there. I would have liked to kept that a little bit. Stockpile comes down for Personman again here. So they could consider encampment. Stockpile, for example. Forge, they could consider. They don't. They go for encampment and plunder instead. Hunt and Lodge. I am going to discard there. I would like to find my Margrave. I think that is very important to find as often as possible. And we get the last of the plunders and we buy a stockpile ourselves here. This is not a good hand. This is not why I play this game, to see this kind of hand. But it does allow us to get up to our forge, and I think really that should be decisive, honestly, because I will be able to clean up here very shortly, I believe. But Personman is actually quite thin. They've seen that catapult very often, so they are not missing that forge all that much. They could get one here, but they opt for gold instead. Again, I mean, if they're drawing the deck, they don't have to rush to gain the forge. I haven't actually drawn my whole deck yet, so it is more of an issue for me. I'm not going to discard that hand. That hand was too good to go look for the forge. I take my stockpile back, and on 8, I don't really think too much. I just want the game to be over because I have guests, so I buy a province. And the forge also helps with that. I could forge down province into province and continue to push the game towards an end that way. Personman does better the better thing here and continues to go after the stockpiles. The swamp hag, I wasn't scared about the swamp hag at all because of my forge. There I could have discarded and tried to draw new cards, but I went for the Stampede instead. I don't even know if that made sense or not, but I want the Stampede to have the big hand size to get the forge up and running. I just want to forge away all my copper now and start forging province into province and pushing the game towards an end. I have a comfortable lead via the plunders at this point. But at this point, Pussman builds up even more with these stockpiles. They gain another Margrave for the draw, stick their Swamp Hag into play. Even a third Margrave for them here. And this is. I didn't like this turn. I felt like ordinarily my deck does better than that, but I guess not. Second Margrave for me again to help with the draw. I sacrificed 3 horses for what? Margrave? That's not worth it at all. And I get a curse on top of that, so that's not happy. But it means all my good cards are here, so that is good news, I guess. I do see the Forge with a very big hand size. Not as big as I would have liked, but perhaps it is playable at this point. So we forge our province into a province. I trash the stockpile just to land our curse into their deck. And I buy 2 more stockpiles. But I have very few of these stockpiles at this point. Personman has much more than me. And they are going to show the power of stockpile at this point. Because they are able to draw all of them. Look at that. That is a lot of stockpiles. 24 and a million buys. Obviously, they will take stockpiles off their mat there. And they go for a couple provinces. So they are closing the points gap here. On 5, could be another Margrave, could be a Hunting Lodge. That's up to them. Could be another Swamp Hog, but I don't think that's very important. It is going to be a Hunting Lodge. This is another brick for me. I don't understand how I'm bricking and I just forged away a bunch of cards, but guess it happens sometimes. I guess so. And they don't brick, they actually draw everything, I believe. Do they get all the way through the deck? I'm not entirely sure, but it looks very bleak for me at this point. Even if they don't get entirely through the deck, they probably could triple province or at least double province duchy. And I figured, well, at this point, it isn't worth playing on. So we do lose the match 5-1. We didn't win a single match this season. C division is tough, apparently. So we finished last place in our group and we do demote to D. We will be back next season though, so hopefully we could promote back to C and have a better run a couple seasons from now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next season.